let's talk about ENFPs and compatibility. Let's talk about what are the best matches or options for an ENFP, as in romantic partners. I'm gonna be talking about that today. So welcome back. My name is Mindy, and subscribe and like this video, please, so you get more content of mine. I publish 2 times per week. So let's stay in touch. All right, what's the best compatibility for an ENFP? I guess that depends on what the individual values the most. There is, yes, certain criteria that I'm going to mention on this video of things that I think are a must for an ENFP. But I think there are different criteria, so that will depend on what each person values the most. Therefore, I don't think that there is one specific perfect partner for an ENFP. As many say, like, okay, for an ENFP, always you have the best partners an INTJ, or some other people says an INFJ. And although I think that these 2 types are quite suitable in general terms for the ENFP, there can be ENFPs that can be happier with another partner because there are certain qualities in these 2 individuals, INTJs and INFJs, that they cannot quite cope with very well. So I think it depends on the need of each person. But to sum it up, I think I came up to the conclusion that ENFPs are best suited with a partner who, as in the name of the MBTI type, is typed as a TJ or as a FJ. That meaning, yes, I'm talking about intuitives and sensors. I do not think that sensors are definitely not a good match for an ENFP. I think it is possible. And I think that for maybe some ENFPs, the sensor partner can be even the best option, not an intuitive. And I'm going to talk about all of this, but okay, let me unwrap this, which I just said. So TJ and FJ, that would mean, for instance, an INTJ and an ENTJ, an INFJ and an ENFJ. But I can also be talking about an ISFJ, for instance, or an ESTJ, for instance. So what I think the ENFP needs in their life is someone who is like a judging person. What the types that I mentioned, the FJ types I mentioned, the INFJ and the ENFJ, for instance, and the ISFJ are 3 types that are extrovert feelers. And I think that that's what the ENFP needs. There are other YouTubers and other people in the community that says like they do not like extrovert feeling. I cannot disagree with that anymore, because I think ENFPs, because of their FI, they do need someone who is like more in tune with the other person, someone who actually would provide for that empathy that the ENFP so much needs, because of, all of this, like the NE makes the ENFP a bit scattered and a bit like wants to do many things, and it's very as well insecure. So an FE, an extrovert feeler type of person, would provide for this that the ENFP needs. So that's my conclusion of why I would choose an FJ partner. And a TJ partner, that's an ENTJ, and an ESTJ. Oh my goodness, I got it almost wrong. Because they are extrovert thinkers, and they are way more assertive for the ENFP than introvert thinkers like ISTP, INTPs, all of those types. Okay, but okay, let me move on to my the next part of this video. So I'm gonna tell you the types that I think that are the most compatible and why I think that. So I think that if the ENFP needs, what they need is like this mental stimulation with a partner that can keep up with this too muchness happening in their heads and in their hearts. Someone who won't get overwhelmed, but that would actually help them to sort through these thoughts and feelings and will be okay and can have philosophical conversations with them. I think that INTJs it is. So that's my first advice, I would say. It depends again on what each person wants to get out of the relationship. So if the individual wants this, which I mentioned, INTJ is your type. And if you in turn, let's say you have your friends with whom you can have all of those philosophical conversations and that quota in your life is already filled up, you don't need that in a partner. You would like it, but you can also settle with less. But what you would appreciate from a partner is someone who can keep up with the day-to-day chores at home, the things that need to be done, like paying the taxes on time, paying the bills on time. Someone who can put hands on to things that you're doing, like, okay, you have this YouTube channel and you have a horrible microphone, a horrible camera, but your partner thinks up front and they actually go and order the thing, and they just provide for this support for the physical part of the activities in this day-to-day life. Then I would say you can be also happy with an ISFJ, for instance. I think ISFJs are actually quite a good match for the ENFP. I used to think the opposite a while ago, but I have a very important ISFJ in my life, and I can see how, depends on the type, you can also have some philosophical conversations. Maybe it's not going to be as deep as you have with INTJ, for instance, but ISFJ can be a great partner, trust me. So that would be my other recommendation. And for instance, if you want someone who is, apart from philosophical, let's say you need someone philosophical who is empathetic or empathic, you correct me guys, and who is intuitive and just gets what's happening in your mind. So you're okay with not having the part that ISFJ has, but okay, empathetic, philosophical, intuitive, who just gets you. I would say an INFJ is your partner. And I think to a lesser degree, it's the same applies to an ENFJ partner. So I think these two individuals are people who gets the ENFP, who just gets it, who can have some philosophical conversations. Maybe it's different than the INTJ, and I think the ENFP would normally value or feel more whoa, this rush of adrenaline with the INTJ kind of input, because it's so different. It's so cerebral, it's so rational. And the INFJ instead is more warm, empathetic, and feeling. So it depends really. If you need a partner who is portrays this more of this warmth, empathy, I think INFJ would do it very well. And for the type that I mentioned before about the hands-on partner who will help you with day-to-day chores and who can provide for this kind of stability, I think apart from ISFJs, I would also say ESTJs can also be a good partner. And I'm not saying that these people, because they're sensors, they cannot have deep conversations. They can have, but it's just a different sort of style. So if you meet a person who has the similar values and similar hobbies, so things that you have in common, you can definitely date one sensor. Maybe you will want to have this very deep philosophical, then you might need to have an INTJ or an INFJ friend with whom you can do that. So that's all for today. Just to sum this up, I don't think there is a specific formula for this. I don't think that you should avoid certain individuals or people because of their personality type. I do think that you should give them a chance, and even more if they have similar values and you have shared common grounds with this person. So that's all for today. Subscribe and like this video, please, and see you next time.